Hello everyone and welcome to Crypto Night, the crypto investor channel. I'm Boris, so let's dive in. I'm with Colton. Hi Colton.
Hey Boris, welcome back to the Kryptonite channel, everyone.
So we're going to talk a little bit about the market, what's going on the market. Lots of news going around. First of all, there's the Celsius bankruptcy. They're trying to see with the lawyers. They would do what's called a Chapter 11. Chapter 11 is restructuring basically your company. So it's not like a chapter 7. Chapter 7, it's over, the company just disappears.
Oh, okay.
Chapter 11, you are seeking basically protection from the courts, and you're buying some time to pay off some of your loans and pay off your vendors, etc. So there's going to be more news coming in the next few days. We should see some news coming out from Celsius. The other one who is a little bit in trouble is Voyager. Now they managed to get a loan and get some money from Alameda Research. Alameda Research is the company that owns FTX. FTX is that huge exchange. So they have, Voyager, they have limited the withdrawal from the platform to $10,000 a day. So obviously, if you have lots of money on Voyager, it's going to take you a while to take it out. Finblocks is another one that's limiting its withdrawal down to only $1,500 a month. And Babel Finance is they're in Asia. Same story. They're limiting the withdrawal from their platform. So we see across all platforms basically the same type of problem. Is they're all having liquidity issues.
Yeah.
To manage and to stay afloat, the only solution they have right now is to say, let's limit the withdrawal that people can do from their accounts, so there's not a run on the bank on all of them. So BlockFi is another one that's in trouble. They're also a big competitor to Celsius, and apparently FTX would be the one that could be buying them out.
Oh.
So they're looking into possibly buying BlockFi.
Do you expect that to happen, Boris? Like, is that what's going to, is all the larger exchanges are just going to buy the smaller ones?
Yeah, well, you have to remember, FTX is really an exchange. BlockFi, Celsius, they're more of a staking platform, and they were more into loans than anything else. And they loan money without really collateral, which is kind of weird. I mean, some of these people have done some incredible things that they would not allow regular users like you and I to do. If we were to borrow some money, they would say you have to collateralize the loan, and usually it was like a 30% loan to value, meaning that they would, if you had $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, they would loan you only $30,000. So that's strange that they didn't do that for their bigger clients. 3AC is the hedge fund in Dubai that got into major trouble and lost a lot of money, and we don't know where they at. They might be completely bankrupt at this point. But Voyager, for instance, had loaned them something in the tune of over $600 million.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And apparently that was not collateralized. They have nothing to sell. They have no collateral to recoup some of the money. Now, apparently, digging a little bit deeper into that story, there was a few things that they were able to get back. So it looks like they lost about 350 million, something like that.
Yeah.
So they didn't lose the whole 600 million, but that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So they got lucky that Alameda Research actually gave them a pretty substantial loan to cover and to stay afloat. Now, Binance is the big question, because Binance is the richest company in all of the crypto world. They have something like $60 billion in cash.
Wow.
So they're extremely rich. They could be stepping in and maybe buying some of those companies. I heard that CZ, who's the CEO of Binance, very well known in the crypto world, is looking at like over 100 companies a week to potentially buy. Now, of course, he's not going to buy all of them, but he's probably going to buy the ones that are the most promising. And if he can get them, very cheap, I mean, some of those are literally fire sales, where they are being sold for pennies on the dollar. And potentially, I hear a lot of people saying that they might be looking at Celsius potentially. So that's a possibility, that Binance buys them out. So those are most of the news in the crypto world. Nothing very good. It's a lot of bad stories out there, which of course doesn't help the price of Bitcoin. So that's, factor number one. That's definitely gonna probably keep the price of Bitcoin lower and prevent Bitcoin from recovering. Factor number two is the whole macroeconomy situation in the world. Back in 2020, 2021, the US government gave a lot of money to US citizens, giving them, I believe it was $1,200.
That's correct.
What was it, per month, or was it per 2 weeks, or I forgot?
It was per 2 weeks. And it was
2 weeks.
Yeah, and it was basically three stipend checks of that. Yes, sir.
US citizens received a lot of money. That money was technically supposed to help the economy recover by people spending that money. Now, of course, some of them spent it, but some people didn't need it. Mm-hmm. And they still received that money, which created a lot of printing, which created a lot of inflation. We see where we at now with the inflation. The problem is a lot of people in the US use that money to actually buy stocks, to buy crypto, which pushed the crypto and the stock market higher and higher and higher. Now, the problem is it's a catch-22, because now that money has been reduced tremendously with the fall of the stock market, the fall of the crypto markets. And all that money that was printed is now worth a lot less than it was a year or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
With that, on the top of all those unfortunate bad news, we have the real estate. Now that we have interest rates going up, we see major cooling down across the world for real estate, whether in the US, in Europe, in Asia. Prices of real estate are going down. And it's probably going to stay that way for a while. Europe announced that their projection for growth is minus 20 to 30%. So that means that they're going into some negative growth in the tune of about minus 20 to minus 30%. China is still down. So that disrupts the supply chain, which disrupt everything, because of course, American car makers, European car makers, appliances, whatever you have electronic in, which is pretty much everything these days, they have a hard time actually manufacturing products because the disruption from China. Right now, not only is it taking a lot longer to get the parts that you need, but on the top of that, it's also costing a lot more money, because the shipping cost has more than triple, the cost of shipping by boats, mainly. Usually those come in containers. So the cost has been multiplied by 3 or 4, and it might get even worse, because people start getting into a bidding war because they absolutely need those parts. So they say, okay, I'll pay 5 times, 6 times the price. So it's once again another catch-22. And the last thing is the yen, the Japanese yen, has fallen 15% versus the euro and 20% versus the US dollar. So that creates other problems as well, because when you have a currency falling pretty hard versus others, of course, Japanese products become very competitive because they become a lot less expensive.
Yeah.
So that creates all kinds of other issues. So generally, the conflict, I don't know if you can really call it a war, but the conflict, Russia, Ukraine, is still going on. So many things are still happening. So lots of dark clouds over all the markets.
Yes.
So personally, I mean, of course, this is not financial advice and we're not financial advisors, but to me, I think we're definitely in for more downside. The upside, we would need a lot of very positive events happening to see the price of Bitcoin go back up. So I think we're going to see more downside before we see some stabilization, and then eventually it'll last a little while and we'll start coming back up. The last thing I want to point out is we've been in this situation for over 200 days. So the only good news is usually the average time for Bitcoin to be down is usually around 250 days, let's say roughly a year.
Okay.
On average, whenever there are down times. So, you know, we've done more than half of the painful way. And the other thing is we might recover sooner. It seems that as the years progress, the crypto market usually rebounds faster and faster. So who knows, we might be only 50, 100 days away from seeing the bottom. And after that, we'll probably have some sideways action, where it will stay around the bottom for a little while, and then we'll see the rise, and hopefully in 2023, 2024, 2025, we'll see the price of the Bitcoin, but also the altcoins start to recover. So that's most of the news we see today. What do you have some questions, Colton?
Most thing I wanted to add is the gas. You know, gas is starting to, you know, at least, you know, get reasonable again. Here in Texas, it was about 4.55 last week. It's dropped down to 4.30. So, you know, we're seeing some improvements there, but that also is playing a big factor in, at least in the economy here in the U.S. 2 weeks ago, it was the first time all 50 states were above $5 for the average gas price of gas. So, you know, that's really, you know, another big factor that's, you know, hurting the economy, at least here in the U.S. So, you know, I think once that's under control, you know, Biden's talking with all the oil, you know, big wigs in the oil and saying, hey, there could be a, you know, a gas tax cut at the end of the year. It's coming out of your pocket. So we'll see what happens. But, you know, I think once that starts to improve, we'll start to see some other things happen here in the U.S. that, you know, start turning it around. But, you know, until gas is, you know, back to a reasonable price, you know, people here in the U.S. are going to freak out. You know, they always do when gas skyrockets. But that's all I really wanted to add, Boris.
Okay. Well, to leave on the positive news, you know, people will do whatever they want, and we can't tell you what to do, but this is what I'm going to do. I've been sitting on the sidelines for a while. You know, I've been trying to accumulate cash on the side. You know, you can do it from your paycheck, like some people do. They say, let me set $50 a week, $100 a week, $100 a month, you know, $1,000 a month, depends on how much you're able to set aside. But I would definitely try to prepare whenever we see another big drop, because that next big drop could potentially be the last one. Like we have said before in a previous video, it's probably going to be along the lines of about, you know, 12 to 14K could be the bottom. I mean, of course, we can always go lower, but I think that around 12 to 14K, there's going to be a lot of buyers.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a lot more difficult to go further down. So the good news is there's going to be a lot of opportunity around those prices to DCA, to dollar cost average, and to really buy and have a great opportunity, because 3-5 years from now, people will be like, wow, that was an awesome price. You know, if the Bitcoin goes to 100,
So,
150K,
yeah.
200K, you know, within the next 5 years, you'll be happy if you bought some
Yeah.
Bitcoins, you know, at 14K. So, and don't forget, you don't always have to buy a full Bitcoin. You can buy just,
Partial.
you
Yeah.
know, a tenth of a Bitcoin or
Yeah.
hundredths of a Bitcoin or a thousandth of a Bitcoin, and you'll still get the same return. So don't forget that. Some people think that you have to buy whole coins, you know, to make money. No, you can buy a fraction of a coin if they're a little too expensive. So that's it for today. Hopefully the pain is still, you know, here, but we've already probably past the middle of the road. So we're getting closer to recovery. Good luck, everyone, and hope to see you on the next video of Kryptonite. I hope this video helps. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, and if you like the video at the end, click on the thumbs up.